Welcome back. This week we are answering your questions that you sent us on Instagram this past week, and there are a lot of them to respond to.
I was amazed at how many people asked us questions
in such a short time. So good job. Thanks for helping us out. Let's get this thing started.
We have lots of questions, like we said, and Chris put them in categories for us because that's, what he does. He organizes things. And so we have Disney cruise questions, we have Disney questions, we have vacation questions, and then we have lots of just kind of random questions about us. The Disney cruise questions are probably one of the most popular questions, and there was even one question that was asked the most of all the questions.
For sure.
That will be the last Disney cruise question we get to. So the first question is, what was your favorite Disney cruise?
Oof. Like my initial response is our first one because it was so amazing. We had such a good time being introduced to Disney cruising. That said,
after waiting so long.
Yes. On the Wonder, that was the first viewer cruise that we went on with the legs and Zach Mins and a bunch of others. Some of you guys, I think. And it was amazing. We had such a good time. So much of me also wants to say the Fantasy.
I know. I'm kind of the same. And then at the same time, I'm kind of like all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Well, because they've all been different, which has been so great.
Yeah. They were all so good. But that first one, we had such high expectations and we waited so long after so many cancellations. And the fact that it exceeded our expectations was amazing.
Yep.
I will always remember that cruise.
Yeah.
For sure. Like distinctly. The other ones that kind of blend together a little bit. But they were all great.
So do we answer the question?
I don't know. I say
you can figure it out.
I think the answer is the first one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right, now I got Lindsay here, and Lindsay, what's been your favorite Disney cruise we've been on?
Probably the Fantasy, because I had a lot of friends and it was really fun. I made a lot of memories.
Yeah.
And I really liked the 7 days. It was very relaxing.
It was. So the next question is, which is your favorite Disney cruise ship and why?
Yeah.
And they don't want to just know the ship. They want to know the reason behind it.
Yes.
So good question. Mm-hmm. What's yours?
I mean, for the same reason, the Wonder, it was the first cruise ship that we went on with Disney. We had a great time. We've been on it twice now. The Magic is very similar, but we just really loved the Wonder so much both times. But then again, the Fantasy was also amazing. So
we've only been on 3 of the 5 that are at least currently in service.
I would say number 1, the Wonder, number 2, the Fantasy, number 3, the Magic, because those are the only choices we have. You agree?
Yeah, I do. I love the Fantasy, and I really want to go back on the Fantasy.
Yeah, I do too.
Because the Fantasy equals longer cruises.
It's also those itineraries. So for us, the Wonder can be over here on the West Coast, so it's easy to get to for us. But the Fantasy, I mean, those itineraries are amazing.
Yeah, but something about the classic ships, the first 2 original, they're classic. The adult areas, in my opinion, are the best of all the ships because they're big and spacious and you could spread out. I did love the adult area, though, on the Fantasy. Was it called Satellite Falls? Satellite Falls was really great. Yeah. The regular adult area, like Quiet Cove, wasn't ever so quiet. Mm-hmm. And the pool wasn't as good as the classic ships, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite Disney cruise ship we've been on?
Probably the Fantasy. I like that one. That was fun.
What'd you like about that the most?
It was very big.
A little more to do on the bigger ships?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you like the edge on that one a little bit better?
Yeah, I like the edge on that one better.
Yeah? What's your favorite ship that we've gone on?
I'd say also the Fantasy because I really like the Vibe Club there. It's very big and roomy. Definitely my favorite that we've been on so far.
The next question is, what is the best first-timer advice we can give to someone going on the Disney Fantasy?
That's a really good question, too.
I think that we both see cruising a little different.
Yep.
So I think we'd both have different answers. What is your answer? If you're someone who's more organized and likes to plan, listen to Chris's advice. And if you're someone who just likes to show up and have fun, then listen to my advice.
That's a good prescription for how to interpret us.
Yeah.
So exactly what Carrie was going to say, do a little research, figure out what's going to be on the ship so you have an idea of what's there. That said, don't overplan your trip. Like I'm a firm believer in, I want to know everything that's there to do, but I don't want to plan every day.
Yeah.
And so as much as I like to plan, it's really more research that I like to do. So do a little research, figure out all the different aspects and areas of the ship, and then explore when you get on board the first day at sea. Just explore everything. The one thing I remember Carrie mentioned a moment ago, Satellite Falls on the Fantasy, she didn't go up there till the very last day of the cruise.
True.
I went up there because I went exploring during one of the days when you were probably just hanging out on the balcony, on the veranda and reading and chilling, which you love doing. Mm-hmm. But I had gone up there. I'm like, this is cool. I got to bring Carrie up here. So don't wait till the last day of your cruise to explore everything. That's my advice.
I think his advice is actually really good. So I would say go with his advice with the part where you just don't feel like you have to plan everything. So know something about the ship, watch some vlogs. We watch a lot of vlogs. It's the only kind of planning I do. I watch some vlogs. I kind of like to see what's around, explore, and just realize you don't have to do everything. Even if you planned down to the minute, you cannot do everything. So maybe try to think of, one thing each day you might want to do.
Yep.
But don't overplan, for sure.
Yeah. And there's a lot of vlogs out there. We went on the Fantasy last summer, and so you can check out our vlogs from the Fantasy. There's a bunch of other ones out there you can check out on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So the next question, and I think we have a couple more for Disney cruising, is will you guys ever cruise on the Disney Wish?
We wish.
We wish we will.
We hope so. And we hope it will be sooner than later.
Yep.
And that's really all we can say about that right now.
Yep. The last of the Disney cruise questions.
Yes.
It's burned in my memory because this was asked so many times.
Yes.
When's your next Disney cruise?
Yeah. I feel like they want us to go on one more than we do.
I know.
Not at all true. We want to go on another one. Really.
Yeah, we do.
We have some hopeful plans that are in progress, but because, and we'll get to some of these other questions about, Chris's job and everything, nothing is we don't know what the future holds.
We're holding it very loosely.
Yes, that is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have a plan. We're not going to say when it is because it is not for sure.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So the next section of questions is about Disney parks. So the first question we got on this one was, were you guys big Disney fans before you had your girls?
Yes. And I really like this question. Oh, I was saying yes, as in I agree with the question.
I was.
Yes, you were. And I've said this before, I think on another vlog, but I'm kind of a convert to Disney. I didn't really even used to like Disneyland. I know it's him. It's his fault. But I went a few times growing up, which is probably a lot more than some people, but we live in California.
Yep.
I just never really got that into it. We went once when we were dating and we stayed at your aunt's house.
Yep.
And I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
But then I remember the first time I really enjoyed it was we took the youth group and I saw the excitement in all of the students in the youth group. And it was just contagious. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then when we started to bring our kids.
You see the castle? You see that castle?
That was amazing.
That was the cherry on top.
Yeah. Every time we went, I would be like, I'm not going back there for at least 3 years. And
every time.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, every other year, every 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I got her down to every other year.
Yeah.
And then eventually we've been generally going about once a year if we can.
Yeah. So it's just, I think the thing is for me is it's exhausting. It's really fun, but it's exhausting.
It can be for sure.
And so I want to have more relaxation in my vacations, which is why I love Disney cruising.
Which is also why we change it up. We do some relaxing vacations where sometimes just you and me, and we go to the beach and we just relax. Other times we do the things as a family.
Yeah.
And those tend to be a little more active, but we always try to make sure we plan some relaxation into it as well.
Yeah. So the next question is, if you were president of Disneyland for a day, what changes would you make? And I am just going to let Chris answer this question because I would have no idea what to do. I would say, who elected me? I have no idea what's going on.
Well, my friend Paul asked this.
Yeah.
And I immediately got a picture in my mind of what that might look like. And then I had a little too much fun with Photoshop. So sorry if your eyes are bleeding right now. I showed this to Lindsay and she screamed and ran out of the room.
Yep.
Justifiably so. Thanks, Paul, for that question. Gosh, what would I do? I think I would get rid of Genie Plus for that day and bring back the paper Fast Pass machines. I just would love to see what it's like going back a few years and get rid of reservations. Mm-hmm. That way you can just go. Who knows what that would do? And honestly, I'd be president for a day. I don't have to worry about being fired if it's a bad business decision.
I like the Fast Pass idea.
Yeah.
That would be fun to go back to that. Although I remember when there were Fast Passes, you were running everywhere all the time, and you would have like double the amount of steps that everybody else in the family.
Yep.
Because you would be going from here and there and there.
I worked the system.
Oh, yes, you did.
Our last Disney question is from our friend Maria, and she asked, do you guys have any Disneyland trips coming up? And then she said to say, happy camping.
Yes, because we're going camping soon. All of our
That's right.
camping stuff's all over the floor right here. I think we should do an experiment and see if our children watch this video.
I think we should.
We make them
They
watch
don't
it.
ever watch the videos on their own.
No, we make them watch it before it's published so we can see if they need us to edit anything out that they don't like.
Yeah.
But we do have plans to go to Disneyland,
Really soon.
but it's just the two of us.
Yep. The girl,
They're going to find out eventually.
they're going to be going to summer camp, and then we saw that week Disneyland has its cheapest prices for one-day tickets, and so we got a few days.
We were also kind of, I don't want to say brainwashed, that's really the wrong word, but we were hinted over and over by one of you that they would,
You know who you are.
Yes, that you would see us in Disneyland sometime soon. And I was like, we're not going to Disneyland anytime soon, but somehow that convinced us that we should be going.
The caveat is if I have any job interviews that I can't schedule around that time we're going to be there, that's the only thing that's going to keep us from going.
Yeah. So this is very soon. This is like in a few weeks.
Yep.
So we will be hopefully, I mean, I want to say hopefully more about your job interviews.
Yes,
but at the
for
same
sure.
time, you've already had some in motion.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a little while.
And we're doing this one on the cheap too. Which we kind of have to right now, but we were able to make it work where we could use points for a hotel, points for our flights, and we're able to make it work.
We could have driven, but we actually found out because of the points, it was cheaper to fly.
Yep.
So, yeah, just a couple weeks, we're going to Disneyland, and it's going to be just the two of us.
Let's see if we can keep it quiet with the girls.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So this next one, these are more like the vacation questions that we got. So general vacation questions. This one didn't mention Disney cruising, but I put this one first because of it. It said, will you keep cruising or do you want to try other types of vacations?
Yeah. So we go on all kinds of other vacations, and
Because we love to travel. We really, really enjoy cruising, but we love to travel in general.
most of our vacations have not been cruising, and we don't vlog everything we do. I mean, well, actually, we are vlogging this, but tomorrow we're going to Santa Cruz just to ride our bikes.
Yep.
Just the two of us, because we can drive there and back in one day. I mean, that's not vacation, but we go camping, we go visit friends like in Washington and Tennessee. Anywhere we could go that is different, we love to go there and explore.
Some of the places we've actually been to have been incredible, and we didn't have our YouTube channel at that point, and so we didn't vlog anything of it. But we've been to Cabo, just Carrie and I, for our 10-year anniversary. We went there. We went to Puerto Vallarta with the girls. Gosh, was that 6 years ago? That was the best
one
trip.
of our favorite trips we've ever done. And we are doing a budget Disney cruise video soon, and we have done a budget travel video before, but we have always found a way to do some sort of budget friendly traveling.
Yeah, we'll link the older budget video we did previously, and be on the lookout sometime this summer for the other one to come out.
Yeah. We've also actually done a lot of mission trips.
Yeah.
So we've been to Guatemala.
You and I went to Guatemala. We went to the DR, Dominican Republic, with the girls. We brought them with us, which was so cool.
Yeah, on a mission trip. We've been to Mexico several times. We've gone to San Francisco on a mission trip. So we love to travel. We just love to experience different parts of the world and different people.
Yeah. The next question is, have you guys ever been to Philadelphia, and have you ever tried a cheesesteak? And my guess is they're asking, have you tried a real Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia?
So since we have never been to Philadelphia,
Neither of us have.
we have not tried one of those.
Yeah.
I did have the best one.
Cheesesteak.
Yes, I did. I did have an amazing one at the New York in Las Vegas, but I would like to go to Philadelphia.
I've had a number of good ones too, but I've always wanted to try a cheesesteak in Philly, and I've always wanted to try deep dish pizza in Chicago.
Oh, man.
And I've been to Chicago once, and I don't know why I didn't go to get pizza there.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost dinner time.
Yeah, it is. So the next question is, what is our top bucket trip we would each like to take?
This one, a number of you guys asked as well. That is a really, really tough one. For me, I'm a little bit torn because the Disney side of me wants to say all of the international Disney parks. That would be so much fun. I've always wanted to visit those. That would never happen on one trip unless it's like $100,000. So we'd never do this.
Wow.
But you get in a small plane and with other people who do this trip as well, and you jet around the world to all of the Disney parks.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be my Disney bucket list trip, I guess, if I was to say that. It's something you can do, I think, through Adventures by Disney.
Bucket list means you'll probably do it someday.
Is it?
I don't know. I feel like it is.
Well, the other one would be, don't know if we'll ever do it, is to rent a on top of the water like house bungalow thing in the Maldives, in the islands.
Wow.
In the Maldives. That would be incredible to literally wake up, walk out, you're living on water, and you could take a water slide into the ocean.
Wow.
Swim with fish. You have a pool there. It looks incredible, but it's also very expensive.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
I didn't know
So
that.
those would be my 2 bucket list trips.
Wow. Okay. I just have to comment about the Disney thing because it's so funny because every time we talk about going to Europe, I've been to Europe 3 times. He has not been to Europe. And we say something like, oh, maybe we'll go to Paris. And he's like, ooh, Disneyland Paris. And I think to myself, we have a limited amount of time in Europe. I mean, we can go to Disneyland here, but...
If we're ever in Paris, we're going to Disneyland Paris.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
You've agreed to this.
I'm sure I have. Okay. My bucket list is kind of a funny story, actually. I always wanted to go to Spain, and I almost went to Spain 3 times. So like I said, I've been to Europe 3 times. And when we met, I actually had a trip planned to Spain that was 6 weeks long. First, I shortened my trip from 6 weeks to 4 weeks, and then I decided to not go. And that sounds weird. Like, why would you cancel this trip? I had some other major things going on in my life, but mostly it was like I met the man that I knew I wanted to marry someday, and I just didn't want to leave for 6 weeks or 4 weeks. And part of the goal of that trip was to find out where I was going to live because I was going to study abroad for a year. My minor was Spanish.
You planned all this before we even met.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so anyway, I ended up canceling the trip. I did go to Europe for a little while with my mom, and we went on a Baltic Sea cruise on Princess that was really fun.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Spain. But Spain is definitely my bucket list.
And not like a 1 week trip there.
No.
Like you would love to like go there for like 3 weeks and just explore different
longer.
areas of the country. Yes. And that's something I've always wanted to do with her. Ever since like she told me that she wasn't going to go. That was like when I knew I was going to marry this girl.
Yeah. And I didn't actually know I was going to marry him yet. I just was like, this relationship, like, is the first relationship that is what I could see for my future.
Yeah.
And so it was just, I didn't feel like I wanted to just leave. So yeah, Spain.
My fault.
Someday he's going to take me to Spain.
Yeah, someday.
Well, our 20-year anniversary is coming up in a couple of years. So
That's true.
Maybe you can take me then.
Let's try to make that happen.
All right.
All right. So we have 2 more vacation questions, and they're a little bit similar. But the first one, our friend Jessica Violet from Violet Vlogs YouTube channel. Check her out. They're awesome. They live in Alaska. They're great people, and we would love to meet them. And that's kind of her question: is when are you going to come up to North Pole, Alaska, to visit us?
That sounds fun. We do not have plans to do that, but we would love to.
We would love to, and we can't wait to make something like that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
Thanks for the invite.
Yep.
So we'll be there eventually.
Yep.
Okay, our next question is from Corla Leg, and is favorite place to go camping or campground? Would you ever get an RV to go camping? Would you ever consider moving? Maybe to Idaho. Maybe because all the Californians are moving to Idaho. Maybe that's
A lot of them are.
Yeah.
There, or Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah, or Texas, or Oregon,
Florida.
or Washington, or Montana. Everyone's leaving California.
Yes. Not us yet. We have family here. We both have all of our extended family here in California. So we don't have any plans to move at any point in the future. Eventually, I think we'd be open to it.
Maybe when we retire sometime.
Yeah, but we don't have any plans right now. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
To Idaho.
Actually, I've never been to Idaho.
I have.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
I went for a work conference there last year.
Would you ever get an RV to go camping? And we have separate answers. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
No.
Yes.
I say no because there's this feeling that I have if we invest in an RV, which is not cheap, that's what we'll do for vacation from here on out. And I don't want to just do that kind of vacation. I would like to have one, but I feel like to have one, we'd have to have an obscene amount of money to just spend it on something we're going to use once a year, maybe twice a year.
See, my best friend, they have an RV and they go skiing almost every weekend in the winter.
And they
with an
live
RV.
really close to skiing.
We do too. We live like less than an hour and a half away.
Hour and a half.
So I feel like that would be really fun. But at the same time, I agree with him. I don't just want to have camping be our vacation. So that will probably never happen.
Yeah, we enjoy camping, and we've never camped with an RV. We've camped with a tent trailer before, which was kind of fun. If we ever got something, it probably would be some kind of a trailer RV. I just don't see it happening.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
So now we're moving into more general questions.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is, what are your favorite movies and TV shows?
Oh boy. If it's a series of movies, probably Marvel, because I could have a lot to choose from because there's so many. Harry Potter also would be great. If it was one movie, man, this is so hard. You come up with one.
My favorite movie is Pride and Prejudice. It's the movie that I watch.
Here we go.
Yeah, well,
Okay, I have one. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I knew you were going to say that. I've never watched that, and I never will.
It's a real movie.
I know. Yeah, and then going along with that, favorite TV show, Downton Abbey.
Of course. TV show.
Also, I don't overthink questions like this. I just go.
I know.
Yeah.
TV show's easy for me. It's The Office. Because it's so good. And there's so many good one-liners. And it never gets old rewatching the whole series. If it was one movie, I'd probably have to say The Goonies. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. Just because it's super nostalgic. It's what me and my friends watched growing up. The best movie ever made out of the 80s, I think. It's so good.
Good answer.
Yeah. And favorite TV show and movie?
The TV show is a hard one because I like a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I'd probably have to say Gravity Falls. It's on
Okay.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you like about that?
It's just like a really fun storyline. And it's kind of like involved in this like role-playing thing me and one of my friends do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what about movie?
Series of movies like Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of said something like that too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Back again with Lindsay. Favorite TV show or movie?
Okay.
That's a hard one, huh?
I like the Harry Potters.
Good choice.
6-1 would probably be my favorite out of all of them, the movie wise. I like Titanic. I like Legally Blonde. We recently watched Free Guy, which is really good. I don't think I really have a favorite. I just like a lot of them in general.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Yep. About TV show
I want to say Big Shot. It's really short.
from
And
Disney Plus.
yeah, it's a
Actually, 2 days after we're recording this, Disney's actually supposed to get rid of Big Shot
yeah. You told me that earlier.
off of Disney Plus.
Yeah, he told me that as we were.
Now she just wants to binge it before
Yeah.
we leave for camping.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot to binge it today.
Oh no.
Yeah, probably The Office. Doogie Kame Aloha is really funny.
Like the new Doogie Howser
Yeah,
on Disney
but
Plus?
it's like a girl who lives in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. That's really funny. Or like Friends, but it's like a bit crude. you know?
Yeah,
But like besides all that, it's really funny. I really like the characters.
especially Chandler.
Chandler's my bae. Oh my gosh.
He's funny.
He's great.
Well, I wouldn't say bae, but
He's
he's a little older than you.
A little bit. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Stranger Things, but just season 3. Season 3 is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, 4 is a little bit off
Yeah.
the hook.
Yeah, they kind of went like less into humor and more like, yeah, probably just those.
Cool. Thanks.
Yep.
The next one is, what is your favorite podcast? And gosh, there's a number of them I listen to. Some that are like for leadership, others that are for like just fun, like Disney stuff, Disney cruising.
I don't really listen to podcasts.
Yeah, you're not much of a podcast
I
person.
do listen to, it's called the Bible Recap. And it's like,
I listen to that one too.
yeah, it's like a Bible plan, and then you listen to the Bible recap. So I wouldn't say it's my favorite because it's something fun to listen to. For fun, I listen to audiobooks, but it does help me stay kind of focused on reading the Bible and hearing some really interesting commentary.
Yeah. Yeah, I listen to podcasts to get information, but also just to have fun. Have something, having something fun to listen to as I'm doing other things. What?
I just realized I said I don't listen to podcasts, and we're actually going to be on a podcast later tonight.
Yep. Well, I was about to mention for Disney Cruising, I like the DCL podcast. It's great. The hosts on there are really engaging, really fun to listen to, and we're actually going to be on their podcast talking about our most recent cruise on the Magic.
Yeah. I have listened to their podcast a few times, but I don't know. I love listening to audiobooks, so I don't like anything to get in the way of that.
Yeah.
So that's really all I listen
And
to.
for Disney Parks, probably Market House podcast. I've listened to them a bunch, and they're really fun. It's a young couple up in Sacramento, Caleb and Caitlin, and do such a great job interacting with each other and making it interesting. They do a great job. If it's just a general podcast, it's really hard for me to choose. Like we have friends that have podcasts, like the Zachmans and the Lakes have podcasts. So I really enjoy listening to them because it's like listening to friends since we know them. There are so many out there. It's really hard. That's the best I can give you. Sorry.
What is your favorite podcast? Tell us in the comments.
Yep.
Maybe I will try some podcasts.
Yeah, give some suggestions for Carrie.
Yeah, and tell us what it's about. I would probably listen to a podcast if it was talking about books.
I was just thinking that.
I just joined this Facebook group that talks about books, and it's so much fun. Like, I just look at it all the time. It's new to me. I didn't know there were groups like that, but yeah,
There's groups for almost everything.
I know. I just didn't know that.
All right. So a few people asked this question as well. What are your favorite foods? And maybe are they different from each other?
I felt like I had a brief answer, and then I just got overwhelmed thinking of every kind of food there is. Oh my gosh. We eat the same kind of food a lot. So it's always fun to go on vacation where you can try something new.
Yeah.
But I don't eat it often, but I love pasta.
Mm-hmm.
I love Mexican food. I mean, authentic Mexican food. Our family loves Mexican food and pasta, so that's easy. But there's definitely things that certain people in our family don't like. Cheese, Alyssa doesn't like cheese unless it's a certain way, then she'll eat it. And so that's annoying.
Yeah.
Like the pickiness is annoying. I just started something new. Can I just say this real quick?
Sure.
This has been helpful because it's hard to get food that kids like for lunch. I decided
A little parenting tip here.
Lindsay's been looking online for easy lunch options that are packable. And then I've been taking her to the store on Sundays and she picks out some things that she's seen and then she just puts her little bento box together for what she'll eat for lunch. That I feel like is going to be the new thing that's going to be really helpful for us.
Yeah, because the girls are wrapping up their last week of school this week as we're recording it.
Yeah, we get out kind of early.
Yeah. So it's kind of practice for them. But yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes because they rarely eat what you pack and what they pack sometimes in their own lunches.
They just want to eat the same thing all the time.
The food the schools offer is not the best.
And the lines are really long.
Yeah. So hopefully this will help turn things around for them to get better, healthier, but also food that they enjoy. I'd say for me, my favorite food, anything you can put on a smoker and smoke it. Steak, pork.
He makes the best ribs. Like that is my favorite thing that you smoke on the smoker is the ribs. They're so good. And
that's honestly my favorite thing to eat. So going back to Disney cruising, if we ever get to go on the Wish, they have like on the pool deck, they have some, I've heard they have some really good barbecue options. Yeah. And they also have some good like cantina Mexican food options. Yeah. So
I also really love good fresh fruits and veggies.
Yeah.
And that's one of the huge benefits of living where we live is it's all really fresh and local and not that expensive.
Yeah. All right. So I don't think we're going to be able to have time to get to every question, but there's a few more that we really want to hit on that are more personal questions. Mm-hmm. And this one is also, I think, just a really something that I think we've landed into this year. And that's this. I'll read it. Teenage girls in the age of social media. How do you navigate that as a parent?
Yeah.
That is such a good question to ask and a good question to talk with friends about, other friends who are parents as well of teenagers. I think it's teenage boys and girls, but teenage girls have their own unique challenges they face with it. Yeah. From what we've experienced, from what I've observed as a youth pastor, from our own experience as parents of teen girls.
Yep.
And this year, it's been something we've really had to dive into more.
Yeah, we put it off as long as possible. I mean, I guess that's not true. I'm sure we could have put it off longer. We let Lindsay get Instagram this year for her 15th birthday. So she's, there's a lot of kids who have it way earlier. She got her phone, her Apple iPhone for her 13th birthday. Alyssa just turned 13. We decided to not get her a phone yet because we don't think she's ready yet because of some of the choices she's made. And so it's that's
the thing is every kid's different.
Yeah. I don't think there should be like an exact age, but I do think it's important to talk with your kids about all the dangers, be very upfront with them about all the things, have access to their phone, let them know you will be checking it. We don't check it all that often, but
we have access to Lindsay's account.
Yeah.
Like I can look at it just to observe. And we've told her when we first gave it to her, this is what we're going to do on the condition of the fact that we have access to your account as well. Not to snoop on you, because we wouldn't be doing this, letting her have it if we didn't trust her. I think it's really, really important that as a parent, as much as we can be, as much as makes sense to be the gatekeepers for our kids and to help guide them and protect them, give them some room to fail.
Yeah.
which is really important, we think, because we stress it's okay if you fail. That's going to happen. We want you to fail in a safe place.
Yeah.
And that's here with us and our family, not when you're out on your own, post high school or anything like that. And so we really want her to feel safe enough to use it. But yeah, we dove kind of deep with both of them into the dangers of social media. Not just like that, yes, there can be creepy people out there, but also how it affects girls and their self-image, their body image, how they compare themselves to other people. So the
addictive aspect of it. When we decided to allow her to have Instagram, it was kind of interesting because we do have all these screen time things set up on the phone and the iPad. And we were trying to figure out how to do it. And we finally came to, you know what? Let's just let her have access to Instagram and talk to her about it and tell her, we want to see you making wise choices and we want to reevaluate. And she actually started saying, I don't want to be on it as much.
Yeah. She went ahead and like deleted it from her phone along with some other social media, like social media-ish, like YouTube, things like that. That
was her own choice after the experience that she'd had with it. And I think she'll get it back eventually. Yeah. But I'm so proud of her that she was able to, make probably a few mistakes, also just see how it's affecting her and make those choices. So I think that, it really depends on the kid, but I think anytime you could put it off as long as possible, it's good, but also allowing for them to do some things while they're still in your house so that, and have an open talking relationship so that they can make mistakes and learn from them.
It's such a good question. It's something that's so important that parents just can't be on autopilot when it comes to cell phones, social media. The next question is for Carrie. What do you teach? Like, what subject do you teach?
Yes. I teach English at a community college. It is basically my dream job. I worked really hard to get where I am having that job. I say basically because my real true dream job is actually to be a writer and to also be teaching. So, writing for a living. But yeah, I love teaching English, and I'm so thankful every day that I have the job that I always wanted. So the next question, which was another pretty common question, and we thank you so much for caring and asking. Chris, how's the job search going?
It's a good question. It's still going. It's been a lot more active this last month. I've had a number of more interviews, which is great. And even if the job, none of them have worked out yet because, I don't have a job yet. The interviews I've had have all been really great. They've been with great people, and they've all been a positive experience. The interviews I've had, it was either like right up front, we don't know if you're going to be the best fit for this because of your experience and lacking here or there. But even other interviews I've had just have been really great, and they've all been companies I'd really love to work for. And I'm excited about one specific job I'm interviewing for right now that I'm hopeful something happens with, but we won't know until, if they keep wanting me to progress in the interview stages, then that's great.
Living in the unknown and knowing the future is hard. But I just remember, we believe God is faithful. We've had things in the past where it's like something really specific we wanted and then we didn't get it. And then something better happened that we're like, obviously that was the plan all along, God. Yep. And so we're trusting in that and remembering that and knowing God is faithful. It still would be nice to know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or it will be, but I know we'll know eventually.
Yep. And so thanks again for asking. A number of you guys did. So that means a lot. I appreciate that so much.
All right. So we have one more really deep, probing question. It is, what are your San Francisco Giants and 49ers prediction for this season? I'll tell you mine. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
She doesn't care. Giants, honestly, if they somehow make it into the playoffs, because I think baseball this year has expanded the playoffs as far as how many teams can be in it, that'll be a miracle because they have a pretty young team with really no top tier stars. Not really loving how the team's being run and managed right now. They've been able to have seasons where they came out of nowhere and did great. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not expecting anything great. For the Niners, if you would have asked me going into the NFC championship game last year, I would have said they were either going to almost win the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl last year. And then this year they had just the same chance. This year they're going into the season without a solid starting quarterback. That's kind of an important position. So it could go either way as well. They have such a good team. And I just wish they can figure out the starting quarterback. They need to keep their quarterbacks healthy. The quarterback, but quarterbacks. If you follow the Niners, you know what I mean. I think they'll win the NFC West again if they keep their quarterbacks healthy. I hope they'll win the NFC West again. And then beyond that, I don't know. There's so many other great teams out there. So it's really hard to say. I like the whole team except for where they're at with quarterback. We'll see.
I have a prediction.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
I'm waiting for you to say it.
Okay.
I'll tell you if it's. I'll be honest and tell you if it's what I thought.
I predict hearing you yell at the TV.
That's exactly what I thought you were going to say.
That's my prediction for this season.
Yep. That will happen. That will happen for sure.
Prediction. I'm so
Carrie's prediction will come true.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for asking all the questions. And
sorry we didn't get to every single one, but we don't want to make this too long of a video.
It's already going to be kind of long, but that's okay.
Sorry, and thanks for watching it all the way through. If you're
still here, you're a rock star. You're awesome. You get a gold star. Let us know in the comments any of your thoughts about our responses to the questions. If you have another question that maybe didn't make it into this video, ask in the comments and we'll do our best to answer in the comment as well.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for watching this video and asking us questions. Next week, we're going to show you that tomorrow we're going to Santa Cruz to ride bikes. We're going to tell you a little bit about how we got engaged there in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, and share some of our experience, what we love doing there.
Yeah, so thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.